minimizing expenses and maximizing savings. Hello, welcome to Women's Financial Empowerment Group. I'm your host, Ruth. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back and supporting this channel. Please go ahead and like, share, do all those wonderful things. And remember to hit the notification bell. That way you'll know whenever I upload a new video. On this channel, I discuss all things money mindset, making money, saving money, investing money, and more. So you're gonna wanna come back to hear what I have in store for you. And if you wanna know more about me and what I do, stay with me to the end of the video and I will share that information with you. So let's get right into today's video. Today we're deep diving into a crucial area of your financial freedom. It's all about minimizing your expenses and maximizing your savings. I'll be sharing with you some key strategies for how you can minimize your expenses and maximize your savings, helping you achieve financial peace. So first, let's dive into understanding expenses. It's important to understand your expenses. To regain control of your finances, it's important that you start with a deep understanding of your expenses. And I'm not just talking about your room and board situation, your living expenses, but I'm also talking about those other expenses that come out here and there, things that you didn't really mean to spend on, and all of that, your general spending habits. It's important for you to understand the difference between essential expenses and non-essential expenses. An example of an essential expenses is, like I mentioned earlier, your living costs. Your food, those are essential items. Your basic care items, those are your essential expenses. Some non-essential items could be subscriptions to magazines or little outings that you might take. There's so many different ones. Netflix. Not all expenses are created equal. And to be honest, even when it comes to differentiating between essential and non-essential, it actually comes down to personal preferences and your lifestyle, what's most important to you. I have a client and I remember speaking to her about one of her subscriptions that she had, and it was actually very essential in her situation, whereas for someone else it may seem like more of a non-essential. So it really depends on your situation in most cases. Let's talk about budgeting basics. I have several videos about budgeting, so I'm just gonna run through really quickly. A budget is made up of your income and expenses, making sure you're really clear on the two. A well-structured budget is your best friend on this journey. And when I say a well-structured, you also want to make sure that you're using a way of budgeting, a system of budgeting that matches your style, that matches just the way how you flow, the way how you do things. Because a lot of times people are not successful with budgeting because they're using a method that really does not work for them. They're using something that they saw on YouTube or they read about or someone else is doing, but it doesn't really align with how they live their lives. So it's important to do what works best for your situation. So in order to set up and maintain your budget, you want to have a system in place. So you can do this through using apps or spreadsheets or even handwritten. People still use handwritten. I personally like to use a spreadsheet, and I have clients that use apps, and I have used apps in the past. So you want to make sure that you set them up in a way that makes sense for you. You want to make sure that all of your information is in there in terms of your income and expenses, like we said before. That way you can see clearly what money is coming in and what money is coming out. Once you have that clear picture, then you can set financial goals that you want to work towards, and then you can move your numbers around so that it aligns with those goals. Next, let's talk about identifying some cost-cutting opportunities. There are ways that you can reduce your everyday expenses. And when I say reduce your everyday expenses, I'm not saying that you have to deprive yourself. I'm in no way advocating that at all. However, to get more of what you want, sometimes you have to let go of what you don't want. So one of the ways that I've seen that a lot of people are overspending and need to kind of cut costs is through eating out. A lot of times, you're busy with work and family obligations, and then that question comes up, what's for dinner? When you get to that question, it's like, I don't know, everyone's hungry. Let's just order out, or let's just go out to eat. Now, if that is your thing and you want to eat out all the time, you have to have the budget for it. But if that's not really your aim, then you want to put a system in place so that you already know what you're going to have to eat, and you have that set up so that even if you're tired, even if you've had a busy day, there's food available and you don't have to rush out and get something to eat all the time. I'm definitely not against eating out, but you want to make sure that it aligns with your budget. If you cut out 1 or 2 nights of eating out, you could save $50, $100, $200, depending on how big your family is and how much you eat and where you eat. Another way that I've never heard anyone else talk about, but it was something that I was thinking about, and it may also help you, is decluttering. Sometimes because we have so much stuff, it takes us longer to clean. And just imagine you having a cleaning person come in, you're paying her or them more money to clean your house because you have more stuff and it takes them longer to clean your house. So you can cut some costs by minimizing the amount of things that you have, so that they will spend less time cleaning your house and you spend less money on your cleaning bill. That's one way that I've not heard anyone say, but that was just something that came to me earlier. Another thing that you can do is cut out subscriptions that you're not using, subscriptions that are not valuable to you anymore. I know I've been notorious for signing up for subscriptions. I like those free trials, right? So you sign up for a 30-day free trial or 3 days, 7 days, and then forget all about it or just let it slide, right? I've been notorious for that. So one of the things that I've done to cut back on that is setting a reminder to turn off that subscription if I'm not really interested in it. There's really nothing wrong with subscriptions, but you want to make sure that your subscription aligns with what you actually want and it fits into your budget. So if it's a subscription that you no longer need or want, go ahead and cut that out. The key thing is to look for various ways that you can cut costs here and there. And sometimes when you do your budget, you may see that there are certain things that you really want to do, but because of how you've been spending, you haven't been able to do it. So for instance, being able to have a monthly massage. That may be something that's very important to you, but because of how maybe eating out too much, you're not really able to afford that monthly massage. So if you are able to restructure your budget in a way so that you're spending less on the things that you don't really want or are not as important to you, then you can spend more money on what is actually important to you. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It's not about depriving yourself. A budget is about giving you the freedom to get more of what you want in life. So as you're cutting away at some things, you can be able to have more of something else. And one of those something else that you can have is more money to save towards your goals. Also, don't neglect the power of negotiation. I have saved my clients hundreds of dollars just by teaching them how to negotiate on bills. A lot of times, even utilities, you can negotiate them down. So you definitely want to take advantage of that because, maybe that's not an area of your life that you want to spend tons of money on. So it's important to know that you have the power to negotiate and change your rates in a lot of cases. But of course, if you don't try, you definitely won't achieve anything. So it's definitely important to see what you can do. Get on the phone with your provider and talk about your situation and see how you can reduce your expenses that way. Now let's talk about maximizing your savings. Saving is so important, but not in the way that a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people, when they come to me, they talk about saving. Either they're not saving enough or they're saving money. but they don't really have an aim. They don't have goals for their money. So it's important to save in a way that actually makes sense, that's actually directed towards something. It's not just about saving for emergencies. It's about securing your financial future. So if you're saving so that you have more money to invest, or you're saving so that you can buy a home, or you're saving so that you'll go on that dream vacation, you want to make sure that you have an aim for your savings. You have a goal in mind. Then you want to automate your savings. If you have an HR department, you work for a company that you can have direct access to them, you can talk to them about how before you receive your paycheck, it can be divided up so that money can be put in savings automatically. When you automate, it really is a superpower. It really allows you to set it and forget it. You don't even miss that money because you don't even think about it after a while, to be honest. So it's important to be able to automate everywhere that you can. And even if you're self-employed, you're a small business owner, there are things that you can do to make things more automated. There may be extra steps that you have to go through, but as automated as you can make it, make sure. Decide how much money you want to set aside and make sure you're setting aside that money before you start paying bills and doing all of that with your money. What's good about automation is that it's consistent and it builds up over time. And like I said before, you don't even think about it. For me, when I think about like going on vacations, or when I think about having money towards repairs, I have separate bank accounts for those things, and that's what I teach my clients to do. Have several bank accounts. So you want to have a separation with your money so that you know that you have money going towards the things that you need the money to go towards. So that's something to also keep in mind. So let's talk about some long-term strategies. Long-term financial planning is very important. Think about it this way. Financial freedom is a journey, not a destination. You don't just arrive and then you just stop. You're constantly planning and tweaking things so that you stay on that path of financial freedom, that you're living a life that really makes sense for you, and it's not like you're strapped for cash or you're trying your best to make it or things like that. Even though you may say to yourself, hey, I have a lot of money, I make good money, I'm making 6 or 7 figures, I should be able to do whatever I want. But is that behavior really working for you? Probably not. If you're watching this, it probably isn't working for you. Or maybe you just like to watch my videos, and I appreciate you for that. So you want to make sure that it doesn't matter how much you make. The key thing is how you manage your money. So you want to manage your money in a way that brings you joy and allows you to feel abundant and not makes you feel like stressed out and feel like discouraged. You definitely want to review your budget from time to time, making sure that it's still aligned with your goals, making tweaks here and there as life changes. You don't want to just set it and forget it and never go back to it, especially if things aren't really working well or if you have some life changes. You definitely want to get back to that plan over and over to see what's going on. Another thing that you may want to consider is seeking out the guidance of a professional. You may consider working with a financial coach. Doing so will allow you to have tailored strategies for your situation, because you know what? You can watch as many YouTube videos as you want, you can read as many books as you want. Sometimes just having that personal touch, that one-on-one, you can be able to spot some things that otherwise you would not have spotted and be able to set you up for long-term success. And that's what I do in my financial coaching program. I help people in a way that's more personalized to their needs, their desires, their lifestyle, so that they can have long-term success. Because success is not a destination, it's a journey, right? You want to continue to be successful. So if you want to know more about my coaching program, see my information in the description box, and you can set up a free call with me and we can talk about your situation and see whether or not my coaching program would be right for you. Currently, I have more space in my Mom's Money Mastery program, which is a 12-session program that spans over 4 months, and you'll get one-on-one coaching with me. So again, see my information in the description box and let's see whether or not that would be a good fit for you. So just to recap, remember that minimizing expenses and maximizing your savings is essential for your financial freedom. You definitely want to do these, and you want to do them in a very meaningful way. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any further tips or if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I love to read comments, and it also helps this channel when you leave comments. Please go ahead and also like this video and subscribe if you haven't, and see my information in the description box. I have lots of information in there for you, other videos and resources that may help you on your financial journey. And like I always say, change your mind, change your pocketbook. See you in the next video.